Hello again, and Coyote Jack. And I already ranted with my recent videos how they fuck up Forza Motorsport. Microsoft has fucked up their entirely franchise. They have done irredeemable damage. And not only I'm talking about the content, the DEI, the even that when some of the latest entries of certain games are so bare bones, they had years of development and also charge you more money, and they cannot even deliver part of the content that it used to be, even for the fucking original Xbox. And I'm not making that up. Forza Motorsport is one of my beloved franchise, but well, at this point, I would rather see that shit dead than seeing more like the course being desecrated over and over again, just like they did with this one. And it was expected that something like this is happening. So this headline: Forza Motorsports cancelled following Xbox layoffs. So Turtle Studios has reportedly shut down its Forza Motorsport division. So there is another article, but man, I'm not going to open it right now. Ending the popular long-running sim racing series following Xbox July of current year layoffs. So according to former employees of the development studio, Tour 10, the Forza Motorsport team has been completely dissolved, with only the Horizon side of the studio remaining. So, they mention, oh, it has been Playground games, the ones that were carrying out the Forza Horizon games. They can also code. That's kind of a lie. Sure, you have Playground developers working on Forza Horizon, the spin off, but it was a designated group of developers from Motorsports that got assigned to Forza Horizon. This information has been known since the first Forza Horizon because they tried to revive Project Gotham Racing. Franchise at this point, I would rather see that shit dead and only be remembered through emulation. So yeah, they fuck up so much Forza Motorsport. I already ranted how they fuck it up. But even so, something to take this in consideration. The only people that it's still interested in Forza as a whole, they will rather stick to the Horizon series only because it's casual. The only thing they care about is now trying to appeal to normies to see stick in, which in that case, yeah, more people are willing to stick with Horizon series. Even though, yeah, they fuck up that one also, but not as much as Motorsport. Motorsports was dedicated to a niche audience, pretty much like it's the main competition, or was the main competition for Gran Turismo series. And well, like I said, there is so much. Not only management. People can say that yeah, it's Microsoft fault at management level, at top tier positions for level, and in one hand that's true, but the also the undeniable truth is that yeah, those developers that they were laid off, they were long term developers. They were there for quite a lifetime, and they fuck it up. So they rightfully deserve it to be fired. And also, during Forza Horizon 5, they got fired because yeah, the release of that game let off so much to be desired to the previous installment that was Forza Horizon 4, which was a fucked up version of Forza Horizon 3. Yeah, it's this fucking vicious cycle of well releasing next product, try to appeal to the audience that are not interested in the genre you're trying to push, trying to be more friendly towards them and ignoring the customer base that has been supporting you all of these years. Yeah, and one hand, or Horizon has more chances to even have future releases. Motorsport, not, because the only the only audience that was there to stick it out with has well walked away already. Even with the updates, the people that decided to jump on that game haven't touched it ever since. And also a reminder that this is a live service. At one point, they're going to shut down the servers, if not sooner, when the game at that point is not worthy to having is, well, the license to all of those cars to keep selling that game. So the life cycle, to be precisely, when it comes to the Forza series, is 4 years. So if you count the release a date of Motorsport, the latest dog shit in 4 years, that's the only remaining life it still has. Even if they're willing to put more updates, which is not the case as we are reading this article. So yeah, I wanted to clarify this shit. So, according to former employees, the development studio Tour 10, the Forza Motorsport team has been completely dissolved with only the Horizon side studio remaining. Tour 10 Studio has shuttered the Forza Motorsport space and the team is no more, wrote former employee Fred Russell on Facebook. Following up various images of the game, Russell also read that it was quote unquote a very sad day for one of the best car racing video games. I loved my time there. However, it's not the end for Horizon fans because it's more casual. Yeah, there is no more reasons to have motorsports if it's not going to sell. And even if it was selling based on that said niche audience, even if there was, if they actually deliver it, the sales they are not going to stick up because Microsoft at the end of the day is also a publicly traded company. They have to give all the revenue in the world to those investors. But let's continue. Tour 10 and Playground games solidly focus on Forza Horizon, so the news followed widespread layoffs across Xbox first-party teams this summer, which have already impacted studios like King and Cinemax. We already know that. While Tour 10 hasn't issued an official statement, Russell explained in the comments that Tour 10 is still active, but that the quote-unquote studio is open to support the Horizon side only, shuttered Forza Motorsport side only, sadly leaving Forza Motorsport behind. And in this case, it should be. I would rather see this franchise dead and never coming back than seeing it more desecrated than it already is. Plus, the ones that really want to have more sim racing game, nah, I'm not going to say that Gran Turismo. That dog shit can also go to the same dumpster fire that is this franchise. They have Assetto Corsa, they have Unreal Racing, and they have other derivatives on PC. So they don't need to stick it out with consoles. Even if Sony is willing to put Gran Turismo on PC, which eventually is going to happen because yeah, they fuck up with the sales and also fuck up with that game. Or maybe when the license are probably going to expire at one moment and they cannot keep Gran Turismo 7 alive, and that shit is going to shut down eventually and just die on consoles. Which in this case, yeah, I'm not going to shed a tear of that franchise because yeah, they fucked that too. Isn't kinda ironic that both consoles, Xbox and PC Station, they they used to have it good through their respective IPs. Gran Turismo until Gran Turismo 6, and that was the beginning of them because the customers of said game noticed the decline and all the fuck ups. But there were not so much fuck ups as it is in the PS4, PS5 era. With Microsoft, we saw how they fucked out during the Xbox One release, and they continue like trying to get it better, and while also fucking everything up again. So trying this mix bag, and now the bag is just full of shit. So let's end this. The franchise first launched in 2005's Xbox answer to PlayStation's Gran Turismo. Yeah, it was competition. It became a flagship racing series, known for its realistic physics and competitive online play, which they also managed to fuck it up, culminating in the latest year Forza Motorsport reboot. That title launched to a mixed reception and struggled to maintain long-term playing interest. However, which with motorsport shuttered, Turn 10 is expected to focus entirely on the more arcade-style Forza Horizon series, which has seen consistent success under Playground Games. Now, under the remaining side, under the remaining developers of Turn 10 Studios, they, like I said, they fuck up. but also they designated this. It was transparent, using Playground Studios as a skin suite and training them to keep this development running faster. And even I have to say, it took more to release Forza Horizon 5, and it's more buggier. And it took them 2 years to have the content that it has right now. That now they have decided to, yeah, not give any more updates to that game and only recycle it for the release of PS5 and call it a day, because they are also realizing that kind of battle pass scheme to keep players attached, even though the rewards are bare minimum and underwhelming for the most part, just like what happened with Horizon 4, until they decided to get correction at later stage of the game. But this is kind of funny because this is another irony there. They only do something after it's too late. So yeah, they try to course correct even if it's fucking fuck up for some motorsport. And here we are. It's already too late. People have walked away, and the rest of the people that could have an interest have other options. And yeah, this is also another to that it saddens me, because this is one of the main games that are really sticking out for a long time, until yeah, at this point it's not worth it having it. So there is that. Yeah, both Force well, Xbox and Turtle Studio developers fuck it up here. So yeah, this is all Microsoft's fault entirely, from top at also at bottom level. So anyway, that's it. Thanks for watching, and please take care.